I want to thank you very much for joining me. This is Brian Gibbons with REIskills.com. For over 25 years, I've been helping people learn real estate investing, especially creative real estate investing. I want to welcome you. This is Brian Gibbons with REIskills.com. For over 25 years, I've been working with creative real estate investing, and this is an awesome time to be able to get involved with no bank financing. It's not hoopla. It works. But let's just go over no bank financing a little bit. Everyone's heard of creative real estate. Well, we want to go through some basics in this video because this is what we cover in our financing training. You want to be able to know all the money sources and all the strategies that are involved with creative real estate investing. What's the truth about no money down? Does it exist? Is it legal? Well, I'll tell you something. A lot of people don't really understand it, especially agents, because they're not trained with this. Back in the 80s, when I was just starting in my 20s, we did a lot of creative real estate, helping sellers sell on terms. Now, what I want to do is to be able to help you understand how you can buy on terms and then have a good strategy on your exit strategy. Because you don't need credit and you don't need banks to be able to do that. Okay, so let's get involved with a conversation about creative real estate investing. Well, first of all, what can you do when there's no financing needed? Well, everybody understands flipping. Flipping's got to do with buying a property and having a double close situation. You can do that with no financing needed. You can also use the existing financing. What's that mean is there's an existing mortgage on the property or a deed of trust on the property. The bank has some kind of a loan against the property. So what can you do? Well, you can do many things. You can do a subject to existing financing. That's called sub 2 or get the deed, where they leave the loan in place. What else can you do? You can do a wraparound mortgage where they wrap the existing financing and create a brand new one and they leave that financing in place. What else can you do from there? You can also do a lease with an option or a rent-to-own arrangement. Or you could do a standard option and then flip that option. So there's many things you can do with existing financing. What about bringing in new financing? It's not necessarily your money, but you're bringing in new financing. You might do a rehab and use private lender money for that. There's all sorts of things that you can do when you use creative financing. You want to be able to determine which of these financing strategies to use and when. What I like to do is to give the seller an all-cash lower offer, not a lowball offer, but a lower offer, and then be able to also give them at least one or two terms offers. What that does is it increases the probability that every seller, as long as I like the house and the location and the condition, as long as that's all fine, I will give the seller 3 possible offers. And usually one of them is accepted, especially if they're a motivated seller. Okay. Now, what factors determine which of these financing strategies you use? Well, the first one is the seller's needs. Do they need all cash today? Or can they take a cash flow as long as they get their price? Everyone's heard of cash or terms. That's an excellent strategy in seeing what does the seller need. And I have a special video that talks about be the doctor when you deal with the seller. Be the doctor. You want to be able to listen, and then you want to be able to ask where it hurts and where's the pain, and then prescribe the possible solutions. What else can you do? You can look at the existing financing like we talked about. If there's no existing financing on the property, if it's free and clear, there's many things that you can do. You can use a private first mortgage and create a note. You can do all sorts of things. If there is existing financing, what kind of financing is it? Is it a fixed rate or an ARM? Because if it's an ARM, there's different things that we can do. The next thing is the property's condition and its location. That will say a lot to do with whether or not you even want the property. If it's in great shape, or a bad location, you might be able to do certain things. If it's in terrible shape but a great location, you might be able to do certain things. Now, what are your financial abilities? That's very, very important. What can you do to be able to, especially when you joint venture with someone, it's very, very important that you bring some cash to the game, okay, especially if you're joint venturing with a doctor or something. What about your personal investment goals? Are you trying to just flip the properties and get chunk cash, or do you want to buy and hold? There's all sorts of different goals that different people have. So that ends our introduction about creative financing. It has a lot to do with many different pieces of the puzzle, but once you figure that out, then you can put together a marketing strategy and really do a good job with creative financing. This is Brian Gibbons. Please visit our site, reiskills.com. I thank you very much for listening to this video.